Hey, it's me. So I've been thinking about compatibility. Like, how do you know you are right for someone and if they're right for you? Like, realistically, you're not going to align on everything 100% with someone, but you should feel like you align naturally. And I do think that cliche things can be cliche for a reason. So like it feeling right and feeling like it belongs. But I also feel like sometimes it isn't always that simple or like that easy to identify. Like ultimately, you should feel accepted, appreciated, and challenged. And a feeling of acceptance is more than like someone being nice to you. It's more than like goodness or kindness, because those things don't really denote compatibility. I mean, as far as relationships, it's an important aspect of a relationship, and it should be there and it should exist. But I think compatibility runs deeper than that. Like, on an emotional, mental, physical level. I'm talking about verbal and nonverbal cues. It's less about personality traits like being consistent and caring or kind, and more about the logistics and how you operate and how you function, how you process your emotions and information. Like, for me, I need someone who is emotionally aware, which speaks more than someone who is emotionally available. Emotional availability is absolutely important, but I am speaking of like my future husband, right? And what you really want in a partner when you are looking for a lifetime connection. I'm talking about a level of self-reflection where you're seeking to find areas of yourself where you want to grow, where you are accepted for who you are and for your flaws, but you're also appreciated for how you think and how you operate. But you're also challenged to constantly learn and evolve into your best self. So if you are incompatible with someone, it could be that you are with someone who genuinely cares for you, but maybe they make you feel a bit misunderstood, or maybe they make you feel like you're too boring, you're too nerdy, you're too analytical, you're too goofy, you're too quiet, you're too loud, you're too romantic, you're too friendly, etc., right? They make you feel like a part of yourself that's really just who you are feels like a bit much to them. And I'm not talking about like toxic traits or petty actions, because those are not things that you want to accept. I'm speaking to like core personality traits. I'm talking about the parts of ourselves that maybe we keep a bit more secret. Maybe they don't seem like they are as accepted. But when you are with the right person, those are the parts of you that literally flourish. Like, they pique their curiosity. It makes that person want to learn you more. They literally feel like they are lucky to recognize like this treasure and like this special thing in you that everyone else has been missing out on, because you're great in a way that other people don't recognize or have missed. So, sticking to this a little further about how it may feel if you're incompatible. Because like I said, you could be with a person who is genuinely kind and caring, but maybe they make you feel bad inadvertently by something they say or something they do. But you can tell it wasn't their intention, but that was the result. Or maybe you feel a bit misunderstood So let's put it to an example. Say, for instance, that you are getting your groceries delivered and the grocery delivery person, they forgot a bag. So now you're missing, quite a bit of groceries. You're a little bit irritated. You got to go to the store. You paid the delivery fee and a tip for nothing because you still have to go to the store even after having your groceries delivered. So you tell your partner and they just like, oh, it's not a big deal. Just go to the store. I mean, you need to get out anyways. And they kind of just brush it off and they kind of turn it a little bit where they're just like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. It's nothing. Just go to the store. Just go do it. Like, who cares if they forgot a bag? And you're like, well, dang, I mean, I didn't want to go to the store. That's why I ordered it, right? I have like a really busy day of me and I didn't feel like I had time, or crowded stores make me anxious and I don't feel like waiting in long lines and shuffling through people at the store, or I really like this store and they're far away and I didn't want to have to drive all the way out there, so I had it delivered, or something to that effect, right? Ultimately, small event. It's a small event, but maybe it just makes you feel a bit misunderstood. And maybe even possibly slightly defensive or like irritated because you're like, you just wanted a bit of like understanding in relation in that moment of like, man, they forgot my grocery bag, right? And overall, you feel irritated and it's small, so you move on. And one event like that here and there, it's normal, right? You're not going to agree on everything. So it wouldn't be a huge thing, but I'm speaking more to where there is a lot of instances like that. Say that it's happening every week or even almost every day. That's going to make it feel a bit more relevant. So in the moment, what you probably wanted from your partner was a simple, that sucks, when you get a service and then you don't get what you ordered, probably would have sufficed. You already could easily come to the conclusion you have to go to the store, but you probably just wanted someone to relate to you a little bit in that moment. You probably wanted someone just to connect a little bit, just to vent and accept your frustrations, right? But ultimately, you ended up feeling a little bit irritated after the irritation of not getting your grocery back. So basically, it's like this event caused a feeling, and in that time and in that moment, it's small. It's probably a small irritation, small misunderstanding. It's minuscule. It's almost insignificant to the larger set of emotions that would occur if something like this happened constantly. So because you may start to feel like, I really don't relate to my partner. I really don't connect with them anymore. I tell them things and they just don't really get it. So the individual event isn't as relevant as the emotion that it would spark overall if this was a consistent thing that happened. Like, those constant type of interactions may ultimately make you feel like you need to change. And most of this is probably subconscious. It's probably subconscious thoughts, subconscious reactions, probably not things that are even clicking or registering to you, at least not immediately, maybe over time of like years. And after years, you may eventually feel that way. But initially, in those moments, you probably don't even notice it or think anything of it. So overall, the person that you're with, they may think, oh, they're just too worrisome, or they're just like sensitive, or it's something small. It's fine. And for you, you feel like differently, right? And for your partner, they feel like the way that they handle things may just be better. So they're trying to help you handle things in the way that they handle things because that works better for them. And over time, it may become that you say less, you restrict your thoughts, you try to become more like them. And depending on the situation, maybe that works out better for you. Maybe you feel like, okay, this was something that works for me. On the other side of it, it may be that you feel like your true self isn't accepted and that you maybe want to like shove that down a little bit or restrict it away because the responses that you get from your partner aren't the things that you want to hear or don't really feel helpful in those moments. So you try to hide those parts of yourself, even though it's how you really feel. So I feel like there's two sides of it. There's a side of it where you have a kind person who genuinely feels like they're trying to help you and they want you to feel less worrisome, less anxious, less upset, less whatever, right? And there's the other side of it where you may be with the person who's maybe they're manipulative. Maybe they're trying to shape you into who they want you to be and make you into their image of what's right instead of allowing you to be naturally who you really are. But the reality in this grocery scenario situation is that neither person is wrong. Ultimately, it's just a preference. It's all just a preference. You operate differently. You place emphasis on something that matters to you, and they place emphasis differently than how you do. And I feel like what seems minuscule and small in that moment actually speaks on a larger scale to compatibility. Also, it's important to tell your partner. It's important to tell your partner how you feel, because ultimately they can't honor your emotions and they can't honor your feelings if you don't share them and they don't know them. But if you really do feel like things aren't progressing naturally or it just feels forced, I feel like that's when that cliche thing comes back around. And cliche things are cliche for a reason, because when you are with the right person, you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel understood, you feel appreciated. You align naturally and relate to each other. And what you share with one person that may make you feel misunderstood or irritated, when you are with the right compatible person, it makes you feel warmth and comfort and understanding. Because I really think when you are with the right person, those small things or irritations don't even exist, because you just naturally align. Anyways, these are just my random thoughts.